What's going on, everybody? It's your boy E-Man the Chosen here, and I'm back today with another video. So today we're just going to have a discussion about what I feel that ESO needs, at least on the PvP side, going into 2026. Now again, this video will be mostly opinionated, but feel free, if you guys agree, disagree, or feel like it needs something different, to leave a comment. Alright, so as you all know, we just recently got the Vengeance test, which, in my opinion about Vengeance is okay. But as far as it being a permanent campaign, I do think it can be viable as far as like they replace like the below 50 campaign. But I do not agree with it being like the main campaign and just pretty much the direction PvP is going to go. Which they originally introduced Vengeance as a test, but the way they've been adding updates to it, looks like they're actually trying to make it into some kind of content. So I mean, if we're just looking at the pros and cons of Vengeance, starting with the pros, like Vengeance, it adds a very unique playstyle to where you can kind of have a champion-based class, which it kind of feels more of like a more of inviting experience for a casual gamer. You don't have to have crazy knowledge about certain sets, certain metas, stuff like that. You kind of have to just play around more with the skills. Um, another pro to it is that the performance is a lot better than just regular campaign. Like I noticed significant boost to performance, when we in the campaign versus regular Grey Host or Black Reach. But I feel like the cons kind of outweigh more of the pros in this scenario, which with the cons being is that the PvP is just boring. Like there's not really anything that would keep me playing, especially as a high-end PvPer. I mean, I get how maybe if you're a casual PvPer, you like running with a group, it can definitely be fun for you, but as a high-end player, there's not really much to do, and also, not only that, but some of the classes aren't the best balanced, like Nightblade and Sork, or significantly perform better than the other classes. I mean, you can definitely make any class work, but not having the mobility of a Sork and not having the shade with the Nightblade just leaves you vulnerable to like just people jumping on you. You have no way to fight against it. So also, my brief about Vengeance is it kind of defeats the reason that makes ESO fun. Like the thing that makes ESO fun is the variety of different builds that you can put on. Like there's over 200 sets in this game, and half the sets, as far as PvP side, are pretty much unusable, and some of the sets are not even usable in PvE. Like there's so many sets, like wasted sets, that have a really good idea behind them, but they're not viable in either PvP or even PvE. So it's also the meta is very stale. Pretty much, if you're not running Rallying Cry and some other meta set like Essence Thief, Nor Arca, Oakfather, then you're pretty much fighting at a disadvantage. And also with the skill lines, if you don't have these certain skill lines, you feel like every fight is a disadvantage, and it's kind of come to a point where you're pretty much fighting the same 2 or 3 builds every fight you get into, or at least every good player you encounter. So the meta right now is very stale. So the first thing they could actually do, and this would probably be the easiest thing in my opinion, instead of adding all these new sets, why not look inside the game? And there's so many sets in this game, like random dungeons like Maelstrom Arena, Dragonstar Arena, that are pretty much unusable for both PvE and PvP. Like why not look at some of those sets and try buffing the unused sets that pretty much aren't running around the meta? And it's kind of hard for them to get a just on that when they don't, or at least it doesn't seem like they like play PvP, at least on the high end side. Like if you're trying to actually be competitive in PvP, it doesn't seem like they have a really good connection with that, and it doesn't seem like they're really passionate about that niche side of the PvP community who wants to be high end. But there's definitely potential in this game to be a very competitive game, but it takes the devs being passionate about that and really playing the PvP, at least on the high end side, and kind of getting the idea of what the meta is to get a feel for that. Also, another big thing is just listening to the feedback and just being present with your PvP community. Like not just leaving your PvP community like in the dust, and just only paying attention to like the PvE and the housing community. Like people still pay money to play your game, and I know the ESO PvP community doesn't have a great track record of being nice about the situation, but maybe if they grabbed all their top ESO PvP content creators and top PvP streamers and made a poll like who to accept feedback from, because I don't really know where they're getting their feedback from, but maybe if they did something like that, that could work. Or what do I know? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. The second thing they can do, and I think this is one of the most important things they need to focus on, in my opinion, is crossplay. If they brought crossplay to ESO, like there are so many people that I've talked to personally who said they would even come back to play, or there's so many people across Xbox, across PlayStation who want to play with their friends on PC. Like I think crossplay will be a great addition to the game and something they should actually focus on instead of vengeance, in my opinion. Um, like it'll always be like population wouldn't seem dead even at crazy hours of the morning or the nighttime. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably thinking like, oh, there's no way. Like performance is already bad enough. There's no way they can handle that kind of population all being on one server. But an easy fix to that would just kind of do what they did with Mid-Year Mayhem, where they add a bunch of servers, like different campaigns, like a bunch of campaigns, and also like reduce the cap on those servers, like campaigns. Like that way, there's like can't be too many people in one, so it doesn't have be too laggy. But I don't know. That's just an idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, the last thing I think they really need to do going into 2026 is on the BG side, and I think they really do need to return the three-sided BGs. Like I've had so many people come to my streams and talk about like, man, I really enjoyed those three-sided BGs. Like, don't get me wrong, like the AB8 is nice, but a lot of times like it ends up in like one team just getting like absolutely slaughtered and spawn camped. And it's very uninviting for a new player who wants to get into PvP. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of it, like maybe they can leave it as an option, but maybe they just brought back the three-sided BGs. And some other ideas I was talking about with some of my chat during the live stream was maybe even some 2v2 BGs, 3v3 BGs, or even a 1v1 BG, or like a 1v1 duel match you can actually queue into. I think that would be awesome. Also would love to see like a free-for-all mode, or they could also test their luck with like a battle royale type zone, kind of similar to IC. And not only that, like have it incentivized so people have a reason to go down there. Like maybe you get an awesome cool mount or awesome cool weapon style, but you got to get this certain rank in this certain zone, but you have to PvP in the zone to get ranks. And like there's so much potential of like what they could do. Right now there's not a lot of rewards for PvPing outside of like gold pursuits or seals of endeavor, but it'd be awesome if they could like reward or incentivize people like in a specific zone of PvP, and hell, even just in Cyrodiil to PvP, instead of putting some of these nice mounts behind crown crates and crown gems. Maybe reward people for actually playing your game in the new zone, or hell, just in Cyrodiil in general. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Another thing they can do on the BG side would be to bring back the old maps, because there's so many good maps that they got rid of, like with the new maps. Like I like the new maps, but I also like the old maps. I'm not sure why they got rid of the old maps and only left us with the new maps. But maybe that's something they can focus on that's already in the game instead of all this other stuff. But like I said, this is just my opinion. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, or think something else in the comments. But yeah, it's pretty much going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. But I will see you all in the next one. Peace.